my name is Ariana Otten, and I will be doing my social media marketing analysis over Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. Also, I work there. So, okay. Anyways, my social media analysis was over Dunkin' Donuts, also known as Dunkin'. I'll be referring to them as Dunkin' throughout this presentation. It is a national, nationwide company in the United States. They have the slogan, "America runs on Dunkin'," and throughout their different social media channels, they actually do like Instagram runs on Dunkin', and TikTok runs on Dunkin', and like different social media accounts just run on Dunkin' for their bio. Sorry, there's a dog walking by. But yeah, and and the industry that they're in is like the coffee industry. They are known for like the lighthearted, funny, current content that they put out. They're leading the industry in TikTok. Actually, they were one of the first in the coffee industry to be on TikTok and have an account. They have a good following on social media because they are so successful. They're kind of competing mostly with Starbucks in that area, and I'll talk more about that later. But they have a very successful marketing strategy, and just very good at what they do. And they are attracting a young adult audience, mostly college students, people who are just becoming to be financially independent, and upper income young adults too, like high schoolers with a little bit more money. Anyways, but yeah, I will be looking at TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter, throughout this presentation. I think I scrolled too far. Yep, okay. So here is my analysis of their TikTok page. They have 3.3 million followers. Their video content is mostly like current trends, and it's more for like entertainment, and it's more like relatable stuff, and a ton of like influencer pairings and other things and memes and just current things that are trending at the moment. They're really good at staying on top of trends on TikTok and being like in the current times. They are attracting a young adult audience, and this is a huge platform that young adults are on, and just kind of monitoring new trends, I feel like, is a huge thing that they do. But most of the content on TikTok made by Dunkin' is for the purpose of entertainment. They do not mention deals or informative material in their most recent post. They post relatable and current content based around young adults. They have a campaign going on right now called Dunkin' Turns. It's like the interns for Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, but it's a ton of different like paid influencers, I think, and just people in the current, but that's their campaign right now. They're kind of trying to relate to the college students that they're trying to attract, because a lot of college students right now are like interning places, and they're kind of just exploring that idea, and I really like it, and it's across all of their platforms. But yeah, and I noted that they do not repost user-generated content on their account, which I will bring up later, but they don't have like a repost section. There's a what they posted, and then there's supposed to be a repost, things that are other user-generated, and then there's a liked section. But yeah, and the like section is also not public on their account. Next, I looked at their Instagram. Their Instagram has 2.6 million followers. It's video, photo, and graphic design content with trends in creative design. And then there's informative and entertainment content on here, and that attracts young adults. Their material is mostly relatable and current trends, but they do a lot of deal advertising on their Instagram and a lot of influencer content. They mainly kind of just recycle what they put on their TikTok onto their Instagram, but put it in the format for Instagram. I think that a lot of their material goes onto TikTok first. They mention this right now. They're mentioning the summer and just cooling off with an ice beverage on a lot of their advertisements, and the Dunkin Turns campaign that they're doing right now. And then they also do a lot of influencer paired content. In this one right here, she is a kind of DIY, like arts and crafts influencer, and she's also like an art person, but she paired with them and then made a home decor, like DIY art thing, and it looks really cool, and it was a really cool thing to watch. They interact. So one of the things that I really like about their Instagram is they interact with the comment section a lot and very positively. They respond to funny things that people say in the comments and stuff like that. Like, it's just a really positive interaction, and I think that builds their connection with their audience a lot more. X, formerly known as Twitter, they are a Massachusetts, Boston area company, like founded company. So they stay true to their roots, and they post things like with the Celtics and different sports teams there in Boston, just to connect with their audience a little bit more. But they have 1.3 million followers on X. They post photo and text content, but they don't post a lot on there. They just post occasionally. They post informative and entertainment content, but most of it goes out on TikTok and Instagram first, and then kind of gets recycled here. They don't really post like original content here, except for if it's like that, but that's occasionally. And then they kind of just stay up on current events and get creative with stuff, but most of it goes on to Instagram or TikTok first. And then they're doing the Dunkin turn on here too. They did a post about Father's Day on all of their accounts. The content is focused on young to old adults. I noted that this account replies to negative experiences customers have, but not a lot of like positive, like funny tweets or anything. Like, most of this stuff is just saying, hey, you can DM me, I'm sorry about this experience. Kind of just like an HR type of, or a HQ type of response or whatever. But I don't know, they should really have like a more positive interaction on X like they have on Instagram. So Dunkin is a large company in the coffee industry, and it's competing with Starbucks, Dutch Bros, and 7 Brew, and then other small local coffee shops in the areas that they have shops at. Starbucks is a leader in the coffee industry. It's kind of the closest to Dunkin. It has a larger following on X and Instagram, but TikTok is where Dunkin leads, because it has such like it's such a better platform because of the creativity and just like the keeping up with current trends and stuff like that. They're just the best at that. They don't really post that much on X, like at all. They haven't posted in like a year. And I think that that's like a kind of a trend. Like, a lot of people are kind of going away from X and going towards Instagram and TikTok, because people don't really want to read much anymore. They want to watch videos and see pictures. Anyways, and then 7 Brew, also has a pretty okay following, but they are relatively new to the industry. Yeah, and but they do the same. I wanted to say this. Starbucks doesn't really show their marketing team, like their faces, and put like a face behind the content that they're letting out, and like the platform itself. But Seven Brew and Dutch Bros do that as well as Dunkin, and I think that's why they're kind of gaining traction now, is because people are starting to get a connection like they have with Dunkin on TikTok and like Instagram and everything. But TikTok, they do a day in the life of an intern or a day in the life of me in the office and stuff like that, and I really like that trend, and I think a lot of other people do, because it's kind of making a connection with the audience and showing them that you're a real person and you're the person putting out all of this content that they're seeing and connecting with. It gives you a little bit more of a personal connection to it. And then Dutch Bros is like Seven Brew. It's a smaller, more new, but it's a little bit older than Seven Brew. And Dutch Bros and Seven Brew both started on the West Coast. And sorry, I had to do the but started on the West Coast and are making their way across the nation. So it's competing with Dunkin across the nation. Dutch Bros kind of focuses their content on young adults, and Dutch Bros does a lot of content with, I kind of noticed that Dutch Bros and Seven Brew does a lot of content with just the cups in the videos, not actually like a video about the person in the video and stuff like that. It's kind of just like the product, and I feel like Dunkin does a really good job of having like other plots throughout like their content. Kind of giving the audience something to watch, like the Dunkin turns, like who are these people, how should I get attached to them and stuff like that, and like how can I relate to these people instead of just a drink that you're showing me that you're trying to sell me. But yeah. And then this is my SWOT analysis. So my strengths, they're on top of current trends. They're positively interacting on Instagram, and then they have a personal connection with the audience by showing the employees that are putting out this content, and actually like positively interacting with them and giving them a little bit of personality. Weaknesses, they have a smaller following on Instagram and X than the competitors. The quality of content put out on X is not the best. I think that it really could get some improvement and like personality, and yeah. Negative and less put out interactions on X. I think they just respond to complaints so that I don't know, people feel like they're being heard and stuff like that, but they actually need to interact with them when they're not complaining. Repost user content on TikTok. I think that it is very beneficial to have a repost section, because a lot of other companies do in the industry and they aren't doing that. And seeing their likes kind of gives the account personality too. And then opportunity, yeah, that was the opportunities. Improve quality of post on X, interact / comment on positive content on X. Threats, there's tough competition. Starbucks is really good at Instagram and X, but X is dying off, so they kind of got to catch up with Dunkin on TikTok. TikTok possibly will be banned in the US, so they're gonna have to find a way to kind of produce that content on Instagram if TikTok is gone. Recommendations. I put this funny little thing, trying your Dunkin' recommendations, because it's like a TikTok of like, yeah, but this is my Dunkin' recommendations anyways. So improve interactions on X, because you can't just respond to negative. I've said that. Improve content quality on X, because it's really just recycled content that they're putting on there. They're not putting out anything special, except for if they're saying something about the sports from Boston, which is cool to connect to Boston, but you need to connect to the rest of the world, the nation, if you're going to use this. Post more on X, because they only occasionally do that. Yeah. It's not very consistent or every week. It could be like a month in between. Repost user-generated content on TikTok. Show likes on TikTok. Yeah. Thank you for listening. My name is Ariana Otten, and I did a presentation over TikTok social media recommendations and analysis.